We pulling?
What's up, it's JimFro, and this is our official guide for Kizara. A big thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Your support means the world to us, and it's what makes these videos possible. So Kizara is a single target fight with only one phase, and you bloodlust on pull. Her main mechanics revolve around these pools and the lasers that players then have to run into the pools to get them to despawn. But let's get right into the guide. You want to start out by pulling the boss towards an edge of the room and facing her toward the middle of the room. She doesn't have a cleave or tail swipe like most dragons, but this position helps with her two main mechanics, the rifts and the lasers. When a few players get these circles around them, they need to move toward the edge of the room and spread out from each other, because after a few seconds they explode on anyone in the circle and drop a rift on the ground at their feet. Shortly after that, the boss spawns these vertical lasers that chase random players, and each of these players need to run to the other side of the rift to get their laser to go into the rift and get consumed. If you don't take your laser into a rift, it chases you for a long time, and on Heroic, it actually chases you forever, even speeding up and pulsing raid damage if it's still chasing you by the time the next laser spawn. Wherever the lasers go, they leave little pools on the ground for a couple seconds, which aren't a big deal, but when a rift consumes a laser, it leaves a bigger permanent pool on the ground. So every time circles go out on players, they need to drop them with a little bit of space from the old pools as well as from each other so that everyone has a safe spot to take the next lasers. The tanks also need to help by moving the boss a little bit away from the pools whenever things get crowded. Other than that, there's a few generic mechanics going on. The tanks need to taunt swap every time the boss casts Terror Claws, which is a big hit that leaves a dot and a vulnerability debuff for a while. There's a pushback cast that does raid-wide damage and leaves a dot on everyone. At full energy, there's a big random facing frontal to dodge. And finally, at 80, 60, and 40% boss health, there's a raid-wide damage cast that spawns a bunch of swirlies to dodge. For each of these percentage casts, the boss loses some of her armor, causing her to pulse more and more damage onto the raid, as well as increasing the number of rifts and lasers that spawn each time. This means in the last 40% of the fight, you're gonna have a lot of raid damage going on and a whole lot of pools and lasers to deal with. So things could get a little spicy. And that's pretty much it. Here's a quick recap of the fight for you to review or screenshot for later. Our Patreon supporters get these guides early, so if you're interested in that, check out the links below. Peace.